So what's been up? Well, quite a lot actually. Quite a lot of brewing, but also quite a lot of brewing problems. Last time we were talking, I was talking about my project with Richard Emerson, and we were brewing this beer, and we're making a movie about it, and we're going to do this design exercise. We're going to come up with a name, and anyhow, so the movie's all still in production. It's all going to come out. It's going to be exciting. But anyhow, during the tasting of some of the beers that I'm producing, Richard went like this, picked up the beer, and he smelt it. And the first thing he said to me was, DMS. And I've had to seriously review my brewing processes. I've been making some bad rookie mistakes. I've been too keen with my production. So fundamentally, the biggest thing is that I've been fermenting at too low a temperature. I've been leaving it at about 19 degrees for a week and then lifting it up to about 21 degrees to try and get that fermentation finishing off. So that was the first mistake. So within 4 days, pretty much Richard recommended that I get my beers up to 21 degrees and get them pushing through. So I've started doing that. Second recommendation he made for me was straight away move to fresh yeast and not dried yeast, because you can control the amount of yeast. So in a minute you'll have a look in the fridge where I've got my yeast starter going for my next brew. Moved all the way back away from packet yeast and back into liquid yeast. And the third rookie mistake that I've been making is that I haven't been leaving the beer on the yeast to condition long enough. I've been leaving it to condition but not on the yeast. So after about 14 days I was finding the beer and I was racking it into a keg and expecting it to continue into condition and change, but it wasn't. Well, it was changing, just basically when the hops dropped out, the DMS jumped out. Horrible stuff. Now, can't drink any beer with DMS in it, which is a real bastard, because unfortunately most of the home brews you drink actually have a bit of DMS in them. It's such a scientific thing to get rid of it. It's quite tricky. So anyhow, the new production schedule is this: starting out with fresh yeast, starting that out 3 days out or something, just trying to grow enough yeast, calculating it properly, how much I need, pitching it at 19, within 3 days getting that up to around 20, 21 depending on the brew, and leaving that beer on the yeast to condition all the way through for about 3 weeks. So and then cold crash, and then hopping it and cold crashing it. So heaps of big changes been happening. So what does that mean? It means that I don't think I've got any beer that's good enough for the SJ pour. I've got a fresh hop beer in there at the moment. That might be okay. And the other thing is I've got a porter in there which might be okay as well. So that's the real bastard of a situation. So anyhow, that's a bit of that. So rookie mistakes all round, back to square one, even including my recipes. No more creating recipes. I'm back to the famous brewing classic beer styles, which if you haven't got that book, bloody fantastic, love it. Anyhow, what else is? Let's have a wee look around and see what's in the fermenter and what's happening. So here we go, 19, roughly 20 degrees. Here we have the Hop Hammer, straight out of brewing classic beer styles, sitting in here. It's going to sit in here. It's been wrapped into secondary, and that's going to sit in here quite comfortably for another couple of weeks. No rushing that bad boy. Let's have a look in this fridge. Yeah, what do we got? This here, I'm going to talk about this beer in a minute. Centennial Mosaic Cascade. That's really interesting. I've got a porter, classic beer style, straight out of it, and I've got over the back DMS infected American beer. Chinook Simcoe Cascade. I'm going to palm it off quickly to my friends while there's still enough hops in it that you can't even taste it. Once you taste that DMS, yuck, bloody disgusting. And beer fridge number 3, sitting at a beautiful 20 degrees. What have we got in here? Oh, look at this. Yeah, magnetic stir plate. White Labs yeast. On the go. We are growing yeast. I'm going to cold crash that tomorrow have it ready for pitching Thursday. Let's talk about a little experiment. In there, I showed you one of my beers, Centennial Mosaic Simcoe beer. When I was doing my bad production techniques and I was taken off too early, I tasted that beer and I was like, it doesn't taste right, it tastes green. Why does that beer taste green? Well, it tasted green because it was taken off the yeast too soon. And I was like, shit, I can't drink this. What am I going to do? I went searching on all the forums on how to fix this, and there wasn't a lot of answers. But there was one person who had tried where they'd racked some trub and yeast off another similar beer back onto that beer, even though it had been fined, even though it had been carved. So I racked some off and I put it, degassed it, took it up to 20 degrees, and I left it there for another 2 whole weeks. Well, the upside of that experiment is that that beer now is actually drinkable. It's actually drinkable. I don't think it's a great recipe. I think it's a bit too bitter, but it's actually drinkable. That experiment actually worked, believe it or not. Racking fresh trub from another beer onto an old beer that had been taken off too soon and had seemed to have conditioned it through. Anyhow, that's enough of that. This is actually my 1 year anniversary tonight of Homebrew Wednesday, but because it's been such a long week, well, long time since I've been, I want to do something special. And next week I'm going to have something available for all of you viewers. Yeah, a little prize, little competition. It's exciting. It's a beer. It's one of the most exciting beers that's happening in New Zealand brewing right now, and it's coming out of Queenstown. Wellington proclaims itself to be the craft beer capital of New Zealand. Well, check this out. Little old Central Otago, not a very big population base at all, has right now 8 breweries within it. Queenstown Brewing, Wanaka Beer Works, Dr. Hops, Jabberwocky, Memphis APA, Altitude Brewing, a new brewery being built in Clyde as we speak, and Killer Rabbit Brewery as well in Bannockburn. 8 breweries in a tiny, tiny area. That's incredible. Some of it is contract brewed out of Invercargill, and they're doing fantastic beers. Steve McNally, awesome brewers. So next week I've got one of these beers that I've picked up in Central. It's amazing, it's beautiful. It's called Mischievous Kia. If you haven't tried it, got to get your hands on it. Massive IPA, beautiful New Zealand hops. What a great beer. Anyhow, look, it's been a while. I've had a rant. I've had to get it off. Thanks for watching. I'm a bit behind on YouTube videos and catching up with everyone, but hey, we're back. We're brewing, and things are getting better. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. See you next week, guys.